Public Telepresence has arrived in Sydney at the Sheraton on the Park Hotel. Telepresence is a virtual meeting room where people in different geographic locations can sit around what looks like the same table and have a chat without the technology getting in the way. No need for clumsy webcams or uncomfortable headsets. All the Telepresence rooms are designed in a similar fashion, with huge flat screens, discrete cameras and microphones. So when you're sitting at the chair, it's very easy to forget that the person opposite you could be on another continent. To demonstrate the system, we held a conference between Sydney, Singapore, Paris, Chicago and Santa Clara. There were 6 people in the Singapore room, and the screen flicks to the person speaking seconds after the microphone picks up their voice. It takes a little getting used to, but after a few minutes, the different speakers appearing on the screen seems very natural. One thing the Crunch couldn't get used to, though, was not being able to make eye contact at someone, because they may look like they're staring right at you, but they're probably looking at somebody else thousands of kilometers away. The service costs $500 per hour, and currently there are about 3,500 telepresence rooms around the world, but only a handful are open to the public. So unless you want to speak to someone who actually has access to a telepresence room, it's probably best to stick with good old-fashioned Skype. The Crunch is in a bad way this week. What's the point of, well, anything? 2 things have driven the Crunch to feelings of melancholy sandwiched between doom and destruction. Firstly, we watched an 8-year-old TED Talk by Stephen Petronek, where he talks about 10 ways the world might end. Apart from comets, aliens, and other really likely events, he also talks about a particle accelerator mishap.
You all remember Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber? One of the things he raved about was that a particle accelerator experiment could go haywire and set off a chain reaction that would destroy the world. A lot of very sober-minded physicists, believe it or not, have had exactly the same thought. Most physicists say that the accelerators we have now are not really powerful enough to create black holes and strangelets that we need to worry about, and they're probably right. But all around the world, there's talk of building very big accelerators.
Well, 8 years later and $10 billion poorer, scientists have realized Petronek's worst nightmare and created the biggest atom smasher ever. Until now, the LHC has been running at idling speed, which has still been enough to blow away the previous world record for particle collisions. This week, scientists at CERN have warned that they'll be cranking up the power and taking those collisions to a whole new level. Now, the Crunch isn't really sure what a TeV is, but we're convinced that making explosions with 7 or 14 of them could be trouble. So take our advice. Once you finish watching this, shut down your computer and go to the pub and drink responsibly for the next week. It might be the last drink any of us ever have.